Hi everyone, I'm Elliot. You're about to watch a movie that chronicles my everyday life. So the movie you're about to see is about my life now, but I'm going to tell you a little bit like what my life was before that. So when I was younger, I didn't really notice a lot about my disease that was different, like just that I knew I could walk slower. As it got like harder and harder, to, like in 3rd grade, I went into a wheelchair, and like people might think, oh, it's like bad, you're not as independent, but I feel like I'm more independent now, not having to worry about being bumped over by my classmates and stuff. And I think other people might say, well, why aren't you so upset about it? I'm not upset about it because I know I'm just as independent as everyone. Because there's some stuff that I might have to change because I'm in a wheelchair. So this is my last year at Oconomowoc High School. I'm going to be graduating in about a month, and these are some things I like to know people know about me. My disease is purely physical. It doesn't really affect my communication with other people and how like smart I am. And so like some of my passions are like I was the statistician for the city basketball team, which was a big thing just to educate these guys, like the guys in the basketball team, that even though I was in a wheelchair, I could still like do a lot of stuff for them. One of my other passions is history, and I really enjoyed taking the history classes here because a lot of them have been AP. I remember when I took AP U.S. History sophomore year, it's one of the only sophomores in there. There was a lot of juniors and seniors, but I made a lot of friends with upperclassmen because they were amazed at my ability just to memorize and be able to recite this information. So when you see me in the hallways, you might see a disability, but I'm just like you. I'm intelligent. I'm excited to see where my next path of my life takes me, and I'm excited to take on the world. And I hope by watching this inspires you to do something similar.
All right, we'll see you in a bit. Have a good weekend. So, thanks.
Good luck with the training.
All right. All right, we're gonna go this way. You good?
Yep.
It's all of those little things that you don't think about that has to be done. I don't know how to really articulate it, but it's how we define life. It's a different definition from what other people do, but it's how we define it, and we've kind of gotten into our groove. Again, by the grace of God, you just keep on going. Was diagnosed with Duchenne muscular dystrophy when he was about 14 months old. Generally, most boys, it's only a disease that boys get because it's on the X chromosome. And he was diagnosed when he was 14 months old. He did walk. He walked until he was 10 years old. It's a disease where as you and I go about our day, our muscles get torn. And there's a protein called dystrophin that puts your muscles back together, and we don't even know it. The gene that Elliot is missing produces dystrophin, so he doesn't have any of that cement, if you will, that puts his muscles back together. There was a t-shirt he had once that said, "Wheels don't confine, they mobilize." In other words, when he was 10, he could barely walk. He was like holding on to the side of the wall so he wouldn't fall. And when he got in the wheelchair, it was like his life opened up again. We moved here in 2004, and we've been here for 12 years, 12 and a half years. In this home, it's myself, Elliot, he's 19, Isabel is 16, and Jacob is 13. We got an accessible van when he went into the wheelchair back in 2008. And it has, it's really important, it has tie downs. and it hooks up. He's got spots on his wheelchair, 4 tie downs, and then you also have a wheel or a seat belt that goes all the way across. There was one time we were driving and we forgot to put one set of the tie downs, and I went around the corner and his wheelchair went completely over. So it's really, really important that we do that. We all, in this family, we all work together. Generally, one person's on one side of the van hooking up one of the tie downs. Some people are on the other side. Okay. The busiest time of our day, it's one of the busiest is when you're most tired. It's at nighttime. Elliot needs 100% of all his care at night. What we did, we took his vest off. These are the laterals. I'm going to leave those out for a few minutes. This comes out too. This like adjusts his wheelchair to different modes. He wears ankle foot orthotics just to help to prevent contractures as much as possible. So we have to take those off first. But now part of it is this foot Elliot injures, and it's very easy for him to get injured getting in and out of the wheelchair and bed. And his foot right now is real sore, so we have to be really super careful taking this off. The sides of the sling go up under his legs, and you crisscross those in front. Ellie's about 40 pounds more than I am. So we use a Hoyer lift, which is important. There's no way. For a long time I lifted him, and I started feeling the effects of it on my back, so now we have a lift. You have to land him. All right, are you ready? All right. So we just cover him up for privacy. Get the sling out of the way. It's clipping fingernails. It's all of those little things that you don't think about that has to be done. Drying him off and then getting him back from the shower chair into his bed, getting him dressed at that point, sitting him back up, and it's also very, very personal care that has to be done. Everything from using the bathroom to showering to brushing his teeth. And Elliot's always had that. We've always helped him with that, so it doesn't bother him at all. But he still recognizes that it is very personal care, and try to respect his privacy as much as possible all the time. We try to be real light and joke around at different times, so that makes it easier as well, easier for all of us. Oh, you're fine. People wonder about, okay, how does he go to the bathroom? How do you do this? So when he just has to pee, then we just use this urinal here. He has one portable one in his backpack, so that it's with him whenever. And we've kind of gotten it down to a drill, so it's not a big deal. The hardest thing for Elliot is, I think, when we're out in public and he's with me, he has to go into the ladies' room. Nighttime, it's different than most people's homes because it's not necessarily sitting and watching TV. It takes probably, if Elliot's showering, it takes a good hour and a half from beginning to end. There's a certain way that he likes to sleep. I've gotten used to turning him, but it does take, it's important that we protect our backs. What's that? Pull your leg back? Yep, I got it. Just a minute. In the middle of the night, Elliot probably wakes up. Lately, it's only been 2 to 3 times a night, which is really amazing. We have a monitor in his room and one in my room. And he calls, I hear him, get out of bed, go across the house, just reposition him, turn him over.
Mom.
Oh, 2:12. All right. I'm coming, buddy.
Mom. Mom.
Oh, almost 4. All right, Buddo, I'm on my way.
Mom.
What's up, Buddo? I look at him sometimes and I think about it, and I don't know that I could be that big of a person about everything. And now we're looking on to the next stage of life with Elliot going away, and that's a hard one. It's a really, really hard one for me and for his dad. We have been primary caregivers, and now it's almost like you feel like you're sending somebody off to the wolves, because how could someone possibly care for Elliot as well as we can? And he's nervous about it, and you can't show that. You gotta be encouraging. Kurt Melton was wonderful about seeing how much Elliot loved basketball when he was a sophomore. And he approached him and said, hey, do you want to do stats for our team? And he has been amazing, 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 making Elliot part of the team. And this year, Elliot said, I'd like to be the MC for the basketball banquet. And Kurt's like, absolutely. And it's the one thing that Elliot said out of everything in his life that if he could do when he goes to heaven, I want to play basketball. So those are doses of reality when you hear that and there are no words. There's nothing you can do or say, or you can't say I understand, because I know for sure that I don't understand, and there's no way I ever will. So anyway, it is a progressive disease. It affects more and more of his muscles on a regular basis. So what he could do last year at this time, he was feeding himself almost 100%. This year, we feed him probably 75% of the time. His muscle, it just continues to progress. We are very blessed though. When he was diagnosed at a year of age, at that time they told us that he might live to be 20, he might graduate from high school. There has been so much progress in this area now that because of medication, because of standards of care, and it tells you what a grassroots organization really can do, the prognosis now is that Elliot will probably live till he's well into his 30s.
It's pretty quiet. Like, when we first moved here, like, next door and across the street, and then next diagonal to us, there were a lot of kids here that were, like, me or my sister's age, but now we're all, like, the oldest of us are, like, seniors and juniors in high school, and most of us, like, as we get older, like, pretty soon we're gonna be moving and stuff, because a lot of these kids are getting older. I'm planning on going to UW Whitewater to study education with an emphasis in history.
The mornings are very crazy too, and it's, I wish it was different. Isabel, it's almost 6:30. Can you get breakfast going, please?
Sure. Hey Jake, how long are you going to be? We got to get rolling.
As he comes out here, he parks there. I put his orthotics on while she's making that. Then I get his tray on. She puts his...
Mom, I'm going to go brush my teeth quick.
All right. Zip it.
Morning, Buddo. No, I'm sorry, honey. We're already late. We got to get rocking. I already gave you 2 extra minutes.
The student design board games that we made, and Mr. Krill and game design with Mr. Krill.
Oh yeah? You guys made games?
Yeah.
Really? Anything like Pandemic or
No.
Carcassonne? I know, it was fun. It's kind of hard to wrap my head around a class. We didn't have that when I was younger, a class being about games.
No, it's game design.
Although it would have been like those Parcheesi, and maybe we would have had Monopoly. All right, time to rock and roll.
Out the door.
No, I'm watching it. Elliot is really good at directing me.
Can you make sure my foot is off the edge?
I will make sure your foot is off the
Or
edge.
is it already off the edge?
It's already off the edge, but I will pay particular attention to that.
Brush my teeth, get my jacket or hat on or whatever I need for outside, depending on the weather.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go to school.
This?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Ready? So we do 4 sets of 5. It just forces air in and expands his lungs because he's not able to take those deep breaths himself.
I'm Jacob, I'm Elliot's brother. I wake up, I usually snooze my alarm once or twice, then I go and take a shower.
How long is your shower?
20 minutes. I'm Isabel, I'm Elliot's sister. In the morning, I come upstairs and I start breakfast right away. Usually, sometimes Elliot's already in his room. He's getting ready, so I go in there, I ask him what he wants for breakfast. Lately, it's been a bagel and a smoothie. But then, you know, later I'll go and I'll start the car in the morning. And then I'll get Elliot into the car. Sometimes I'll help him with his meds, depending what my mom's doing.
All right, guys, come on. Car's started. We're running really behind, so we gotta wrap. Come on.
Please dust my
Are you
tray
done?
off.
I will dust your tray off. Come on. Mr. Particular here. All right. Good, good, good. Good, good, good. The Isabel and Jacob are amazing helping out. There are so many times when Elliot needs somebody, can you scratch my eyebrow? Can you move my hand over to my joystick? I dropped my pencil. And then let me just...
Jake, can you turn my headphones off?
Where did you put my keys, Mother? Did you take them?
Oh, right on
Put
the
them on.
table, right on the table.
Jake.
I got it, Elliot. Do you want me to take your phone too?
Yeah. Get my glasses. Come on, you take my glasses.
There's a lot of pressure on myself and on Elliot's dad because we are the ones that teach his siblings how to act. And I don't know, I don't always act the right way. And that's where, you know, you humbly apologize, and then I go to his siblings and say, you saw me act that way, it wasn't right. And it's, you're also trying to go through the mental checklist of, okay, we've got him all set with his coat on and everything, but now what needs to go with him? Does he have his lunch? So, for example, yesterday, I got a text. I sent Elliot a text that said, I forgot to put the USB for your computer in your backpack. Do you need it? Well, I also forgot to put Elliot's phone in his backpack, so we never got the message. So these are things that we do it every day, but you still forget some of the things. And it's what a regular student would remember. And as a parent, you would say, gee, I'm sorry you forgot it. I hope you remember it tomorrow. That's not right. We have to go up. And it's probably once every 2 weeks that I go up to school with something that I forgot to put in his backpack.
See you later, Liz.
So he's the first generation that is actually going off to college, and that's what we're working on right now, is getting him ready for college and finding care, because he plans to go away. He'll be at Whitewater just like every other student. So that's very, very exciting for him as well as for us. Good day.
All right, you two do that. You too.
I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you learned something new.